Welcome back to the Vanessa G Fitcast. I'm Vanessa Pozos, and here with me is Omar Pozos.
How are you, Vanessa, today? See, I always go first. You get to go first today.
I think we're both fighting some sort of cold or something.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we sound nasally, I apologize, you guys.
A little bit of sniffling in the background. I don't know what's coming over us. You started like a few days ago with the whole like runny nose, all the stuff. Other than my Aura ring telling me I had like the little photos from the Aura ring, it'll tell you when you're starting to get sick. It'll be like a symptom radar that'll pop up, and it'll be like minor signs of symptoms. Mine popped up on the weekend, and I was like, I am feeling pretty tired, but we'll kind of see. And then today is the first day it popped into major symptom radar. So I'm like, all right, I think I'm coming right behind you with whatever it is
I think part of it too is, and we kind of said this, but we've just been working really hard these last couple of months, and I think our body and everything is kind of caught up, and it's like, all right, if you guys aren't going to take a rest, I'm going to force you to take a rest, unfortunately. But
that's very true.
Yeah. Where do we go? All right, you pick it up. I don't know. That is very true. And then.
Yeah, well, today we'll keep it a little bit of a shorter episode. I actually wanted to expand a bit on a question that I got when we did our Q&A episode last week. One of the questions we didn't get to on our list, and we'll continue to chip away. At least we got some really great questions on that list. But one of the questions I was like, I think this could take its own episode. And that question was essentially, how long did it take me to heal? And it was a two-part episode.
It's such a rabbit hole.
It was a two-part question. It was, how long did it take you to heal, and how long does it take to heal? And I was like, that is like you said, that's a little bit of a rabbit hole of an answer, because it's the reality is healing takes longer than you think, and it's a good thing in my opinion. I don't believe there's like a finish line or just like one specific end result that anybody is looking to achieve. And if you're asking about a specific aspect of my journey, how long did that take? I could probably answer you on like specific pieces of like, this took 6 months, this took 1 year. But the reality is, I still don't feel like I'm at the finish line. There's a lot that I'm still working on with my health, with my fitness. There's always more things that I want to continue to hone in and, improve or achieve. For me, it really is like the classic, it's about the journey, not the destination, right? Yeah. And I think for those who are more specifically wondering around healing within my journey, it really has taken years to continuously work on what people see from what I share nowadays. I think a lot of people want to know about my physical transformation, where they'll see kind of my before and after pictures, and they're like, well, how long did that take? I'm like, well, I can tell you how long it was between these two photos of, okay, this photo was, maybe early 2022, and then this after photo is, now in 2025, and so that's 3 years. I can tell you that there's 3 years between these two photos, but what you maybe don't see is that there was a lot that happened before that first before photo that contributed to the outward transformation. And there's a lot that is continuously still happening in this kind of like after photo today that I'm still working on, as well as I could probably pull photos from, 2024 that people would be, I have shared many photos from 2024 as like part of that before and after that people are always, impressed by and like will catch their attention. But the reality is, to me, there were still more things I was working on between 2024 and presently, and there's still things I'm currently working on with my health.
Would it be fair to say, because me being like outside looking in, you still have, and I think myself included, everybody does, you still have the ups, you still have the downs, but I think that the downs, the valleys just aren't as bad anymore, if that makes any sense. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'm probably used this analogy on the podcast before, but analogy I like to utilize with clients often to help us zoom out and think about like what a progression of achieving results look like is it's a lot like the stock market, where if you look at, decades of the stock market, it is objectively over decades continues to go up and up and up. But if you look within a decade, or if you look within a year, or if you look within a month, there are ups and downs all the time. And, there are some big downs, there's some big ups, but over the course of time, you zoom out, it has consistently gone up and up. And that's where with our health, with our bodies, it can feel a lot like that kind of constant up and down feeling, because, maybe you're working on one aspect of your health, but then another aspect of your health seems like it's gotten, worse in some ways. That can happen because what might be good for one part of your body might be a little bit harder on another part of your body. Or, a simple example might be that maybe you actually need to gain weight before you can lose it. There's a lot of women, I would say most women who come to us have some goal around weight loss, but most women who come to us also know and understand that there's a lot more going on in their body, and we have to kind of unlock the health issues preventing weight loss before we can really expect weight loss. And for some women, as we're unlocking those internal health issues, as we're working on their gut health, their hormone health, their, immune system, the autoimmune disease, like all these different aspects of things, as we're working through that, for some women, their weight goes down. For some women, their weight stays the same. For some women, their weight actually trends up. And it totally depends on who you are, what you've gone through, and what your body specifically needs. And that might just be that body fat at the end of the day can be a little bit of that safety mechanism, and your body might feel safer in that healing phase actually putting on a little bit of body fat, and that can actually get you healed more quickly, which can get your metabolism in a good spot where now we can actually get your weight down.
Yeah. And I think to your analogy of the stock market, I think everybody wants to get rich quick, and I think everybody wants like that winning lottery ticket, financially. It's like, okay, what is it that's going to take me from 0 to 100 tomorrow? And I think it's very similar when it comes to healing. I think we've just always been very much a society, myself included, that is, I think, obsessed with like the quick fixes. To me, I'm like, if my phone is lagging or if my internet is lagging, I'm like, I am freaking out. I'm like, what the heck is going on, right?
Omar's the person who would love to just like have conversations on 2x speed if possible.
Yes, yeah. I watch my videos on 2x speed, podcast. I'm like, come on, faster.
We would put on a Netflix show, and if there was an option to watch Netflix on 2x speed, he would do that.
Yeah. But anyways, I think, and that's just a reality with, I think, just the fitness culture too. I think everybody wants the quick fix. I think everybody wants to lose the weight now, and they don't realize that, unfortunately, we didn't get here in a couple of days. We got here in years worth of GI issues, or years worth of you being on, antidepressants or SSRIs or birth control. And so it's, having to teach your body to undo years worth of all of that stuff. And now it's like, well, what do you mean I can't do it in, 30 days or in 10 days? It's like, well, we didn't get here in 30 days. We have to be very realistic too. And then to your point, we're also human, meaning, sometimes life throws curveballs at us. Sometimes, work gets busy. I mean, we're at a place right now where you and I are not feeling very well today, but again, it's because we've just been busy. And so we at times prioritize other things over our internal health. And again, we reap the benefits of the things that we, put into our body, kind of thing.
Yeah. The reality is, when it comes to your body, when it comes to health and fitness, changes can happen really quickly, but real results take months, take years. They don't take days. They don't take weeks, right? And of course, like in the fitness industry especially, we are inundated with these quick fixes, with these, crash diets, with like I want fast results, I want to see instant change, right? But I don't know a single person who has achieved long-term sustainable results that has done so just with a quick fix and has done so overnight. Like, it takes time to achieve real, lasting, sustainable results. And that's because change can happen quickly, but changes that stick need time. It literally cannot stick if we're not giving it time to stick. And especially women with hormone and gut issues, it takes time for your body to physically heal. Like, it takes 3 months alone to produce an egg follicle. So it's like, how are we expecting that your, 12 years on birth control and your 3 years of symptoms are going to now be fixed in 3 months? That's not how the body works. Like, physically, it can't change in a long-term capacity that fast. So while, yes, you can see changes quickly, results take time. True results take time. And those who get the best results are truly, in my opinion, those who are patient, those who are not just focused on searching for the outward changes, but are truly just like, let me make this a process of true transformation, meaning let me grow through this process. Let me learn through this process. Let me give my body time. Let me not be attached to seeing fast results, and let me just give my body what it needs. Really, like, let that lead my decision making. Is like, what does my body need? Okay, it probably needs more food. It needs more time. It needs more patience. It needs more, time away from just stress. It needs work on stress management. Like, focus on the process, and the results will come. Really, that's what it comes down to. So really, I mean, my transformation, like in terms of the physical weight loss, from my heaviest in about 2022 to my kind of like where I'm at now, that's about a 40-pound difference, 35 to 40 pounds, of course, because like weight fluctuates. And I would say from my heaviest weight in 2022 to like my kind of lowest stabilized weight, like meaning, typically if you're in a deficit, you're going to actually come back up a few pounds after a deficit. So like my actual hangout weight, it took really about 2 years. Actually, I would say on like the fast part of in terms of being in a deficit, that was about 8 months, realistically. But it's not this like one time, go into a calorie deficit, lose the weight, ta-da, I'm done. It's just this continuous, like, okay, now we're going to focus a little bit on weight loss. Okay, now we're going to focus a little bit more again on health. Okay, now we're going to make sure we stabilize for a little while. Okay, now I want to actually like focus on weight loss a little bit more again. Okay, now I'm just going to focus on building some muscle. It's just like this constant teeter-totter of like, let me do a little bit of this, let me do a little bit of that. And it's just like people see this drastic before and after, and they're like, oh, what was that? Like 3 months? What did you do? What, like, did you do all the things at once? No, that's not how it works. And it's a continuous progression. It takes time. The other thing I want to hit on around this topic is that when it comes to seeing results and when it comes to giving your body time and allowing yourself time to achieve healing, achieving transformation, I want to emphasize that getting results does require discomfort. I have to like wipe my nose because I'm getting into, I swear, like I'm starting to drain. Getting results requires experiencing discomfort. And that's something I really want to emphasize as well, is because I think two things that people want to have when they're looking for like, okay, how can I go about this? They're looking for what's the fastest way and what's the most comfortable way. And yet the reality is the most comfortable way and the fastest way, those are two things that are going to make results harder to come by. And you absolutely, I think, could have fast and results, but the reality is that would be extremely uncomfortable and probably like not as sustainable. And you can have comfortable and results, but that's going to be very, very slow. The more you are willing to get uncomfortable, meaning you are willing to make changes, you recognize that nothing changes if nothing changes. You're, open-minded to trying different things and just like feeling challenged and feeling okay with that, the better results and better outcomes will come from things. Any thoughts?
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of looked at it from a different perspective. The point of like, hey, you are going to experience discomfort. I looked at it from, for example, for us being entrepreneurs, you don't get to become a good business owner. You don't get to become a good leader, a good manager without being a crappy one first, but also without you eating a lot of problems and challenges through the process and making a lot of mistakes and, feeling like you're not equipped. And I can imagine, we're not parents yet, but I can imagine it's probably the same thing with parenting. At the beginning, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night. You're going to be tired, or you're going to be sleepy, and you're going to be, cranky and all of these things. And that is the discomfort. But I think a lot of people forget that, you don't become, brave or courageous without experiencing fear. You don't become a great leader without, you experiencing hardships from a team if you don't know what you're doing. And so if it's true in every single aspect of your life, whether it's, an entrepreneurial journey, a self-development journey, a parenthood journey, or whatever, it's also very true in a situation like this where, you are going to experience discomfort. You are going to feel like, you don't want to do the thing. Even last night, I was in the afternoon, I was like, I really have to get some steps in. We pulled up a TV show and I got on my walking pad, I got some steps, and, it's that little bit, but I'm like, it's not going to make that big of a difference then, but it's, over time, compounded interest. I'm like, then it makes a huge difference there too. But I think that's the reality where people are always like, well, if I have to put in time and effort into this, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, well, to your point, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I'm like, you're going to have to do this thing either way, whether it's with my program or another program, or whether it's now or later. I'm like, this stuff, gut health still has to get fixed. Hormones still have to get balanced. If you still want to lose the weight and feel your best, I'm like, you still have to put in the work. So I'm like, what do you think has the highest likelihood of you being successful? You doing this by yourself, or you doing this with somebody that's done the things you want to do? And people are like, well, yeah, oh my gosh, you're so right. And I'm like, let's go ahead and kind of, get this thing over with. But anyways, those are my thoughts on that. Does that make sense? I feel like I just rambled.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, on like the discomfort side of things too. Discomfort is a feeling. What?
No, nothing. I just feel like I went on a ramble. You're like, okay, well, here's the thing.
Like, I'm going to pull us back in on the topic. Yeah. Discomfort is a feeling. And the reality is that you can withstand feelings. Feelings can't kill you. Feelings are uncomfortable, but feelings cannot hurt you physically. It's just all in our head. And so when it comes to feelings, when focusing on weight loss, you have to at some point be in a calorie deficit. You probably will feel hungry at times. That's a feeling that is uncomfortable and that you probably will experience at times while losing weight. When it comes to healing your hormones or your gut, you're probably going to have feelings of desire when maybe there are certain foods that we need to limit for a period of time. So maybe it's like desire might be an uncomfortable feeling of like unmet desire for something. You know, when focusing on building muscle, you might experience feelings of discomfort in terms of going to the gym and trying an exercise that you haven't done before and lifting a heavy weight that you're like, I'm not sure if I can really lift this. Like there might be some fear around that. Like there's a lot of challenging, uncomfortable emotions that come up in the process of a health and fitness journey. Those are all good things. Growth comes with discomfort. Literally, you think about how you grow as a human being. When you're a child, you have growing pains when you are physically growing. Like pain is always associated with growth. And so that's where we have to kind of start to learn that rather than chasing this like pain-free version of transformation of like, how can I make this the quickest and easiest process? It's like, what if we instead are like, you know what? I know that the best results actually come through discomfort. Then let me kind of look for, instead of like, okay, let me just accept that I probably am going to feel uncomfortable at times. And let me look for something that I can really grow through and let it be a process of inner growth, inner transformation, and know that the outer growth, the outer transformation, that's going to come on kind of the other side of that.
And what I think people forget too, Ness, is you don't have to do this by yourself. Like, sure, it is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, okay, well then also do it with somebody that has done the things you want to do. Because again, you know, people have mentors, people have, I don't know, therapists, they have, you know, trainers. I mean, I'm like, you can do this with other people, get your own support system, so that you can also be there for your family or your loved ones or your friends or whatever that looks like too.
I've literally never not had a coach or someone helping me in my own journey. I think every coach in our team, you know, presently has a coach or someone helping them as well. We all also help each other, you know, with like, I probably don't even like explicitly say this enough. I do not know everything when it comes to health and fitness.
Wait, say that again?
I do not know everything. And the reality is like, I am proud of how much I've grown and learned and, you know, the education I've acquired in the last few years. And like, I think those who have watched and listened to the podcast for years now have been able to kind of watch and be alongside that journey. But I still can see that there's still so much that I don't know. And I would argue that any health and fitness professional in any domain, no matter who they are, there are many things that they don't know. And every, like the best, the absolute, just like most mind-blowingly knowledgeable practitioners I've ever been around still turn to other practitioners, other professionals to, you know, get additional support and to talk through things and to work through things. Because I also believe there's a point in time where sometimes you're too close to the problem. And I think you have to like zoom out and get others' points of view. And like, that's some of the things that makes our team magical is that, you know, behind me, I have these incredible group of coaches who are just like way more knowledgeable than I am, are just absolutely incredible. And yet we all collaborate on client cases. And then we also will still even bring in the minds of, you know, some of our mentors or just like other people we know in the industry that we can kind of bounce ideas off and be like, hey, what do you think about this case? And like, here's what we're kind of seeing here. What do you think here? And that's how results come. It's because no one person can get there on their own. So I also want to make that known too when it comes to time and healing. Well, again, I want to emphasize, don't chase the fast results. If you do want to get there faster, having someone help you along the way is going to get you there faster. That's just the truth of it. That's the reality of it. So, I mean, then at the end of the day, really what I want to emphasize with this is that it's not so much about a timeline. There's really no finish line when it comes to transformation, when it comes to health, when it comes to healing the body. There's always going to be more to heal. I will die one day still knowing that there's probably more I could achieve and accomplish with my body. But when it comes to results, when it comes to, you know, these outward changes that people are looking for, when it comes to like the tangible changes with weight and with symptom changes and all these things, understand what it will take to achieve the results, yet don't focus on the results. Focus on the thing it will take to achieve the results. Learn what is the process to have that outcome, and then forget about the outcome and just focus on the process. Healing takes time, and permanent results, sustainable results, requires consistent, permanent changes. And to achieve permanent change inherently means you're not just going to do it kind of one time and then go back to doing something else and just kind of move on. It means day after day, you're just getting more and more consistent. And that inherently means it's going to take time to kind of build that level of consistency.
Boom. Mic drop.
I think we can kind of probably wrap it up there. But, you know, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter where you are in your healing journey of like, if you're in the journey or if you're just kind of in that like information gathering phase of like, yeah, I think I'm going to like start a healing journey and work on my health, work on my body, no matter where you are in the process, just know you're always going to be in the journey. There is no finish line. And so that's where it's just like, learn to love the journey, learn to love the fact that you are taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your body. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So I'm proud of you for even listening to this episode and, you know, learning about your health, putting your health first by acquiring information like this. If this was helpful for you, go ahead and send this episode to a friend. Send it to somebody else who might benefit from hearing this message as well. And that's how we can continue to spread good information to help more people. So thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another great episode.
Bye, everybody.